Hi, this is Chief Education Officer Bill Olsen, and welcome to another school district update. We're filming this in the first week of March. It's a busy time of year. Our budget has gone through review by the school board, by the school budget committee, and we are in the process of participating in the deliberative session, which is always very interesting. Always good to see people out engaged in debate, in civic discussion. I look forward to meeting with everyone and answering everyone's questions at the deliberative session. I thought I'd take a little bit of time today to introduce to you one of our new administrators this year who has had a tremendous first year in the Merrimack School District, and that's Krigus Bozeman. Krigus is our principal of the Merrimack Middle School, and Krigus, I welcome you.
Mr. Olsen, thank you so much, and thank you, Merrimack, for having me.
Well, you, as I just said, you've been a great addition. You brought a lot of energy, a lot of inspiration, a lot of motivation. So I'm going to back up a little bit with you, and so we can get to know a little bit more about you, because it's always nice for the parents, I think, to know who is working with their child or their children, and where do they come from, what's their background, what are their interests, and so tell me a little bit about it. Are you a native to New Hampshire, and where did you grow up?
Yeah, absolutely, Bill. So I was actually born and raised in Concord, our capital city up there. My family was they owned a print shop, a local print shop downtown Concord for about 30 years, actually. So we kind of grew up in that print shop too, as you can imagine, and we spent every day after school and sometimes before school at the shop and as part of downtown. And so, you know, being a part of the community is something that was always very, very important for sure. And I went to Concord High School, and, you know, that's kind of, you know, where I grew up and all of those good things. And then one fateful day after graduation, if it's okay for me to kind of go and tell my story.
That'll help us get to know you.
Not as exciting as the budget or deliberative session, but we'll get into it. I got a fateful call from one of my old coaches, one of my old wrestling coaches, and they were asking me to come back and help out with their wrestling program. And, you know, while I wasn't sure if that was something I was interested in, it took maybe a day, 2 days to realize, you know, working with young people, helping young people, that was where it was at for me, and then so naturally, you know, teaching was something that I hadn't thought of in the past, but you know, sometimes those opportunities present themselves.
It bites you.
And I got bit hard.
Yeah,
you know, it was absolutely something that I wanted to do and help out with. So went back to school. One of the things that grabbed me was the social studies, was because for me, it felt like that was an opportunity for me to work with young people, for the young people to craft some of their own ideas, some of their own opinions. We could look at kind of the situations in the world and how can we contribute to that? How can we participate? You talked about civic engagement earlier, and that's, you know, something that is so important and so critical. So I wanted to work in those areas, and then so I was fortunate enough to you know, do my teaching in Concord. Taught for about 10 years or so in the social studies.
So, Krigus, you mentioned civic engagement. Was your intent to get into some type of government relations job originally?
Not quite, actually. I was, believe it or not, I might have been like some other graduates and was not entirely sure what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. But it was, I enjoy conversation. I enjoy talking to people. I love being in the community and things of that nature. And so I started with communications, actually, because some of my students and teachers thought I got the biggest mouth in the school. So I thought that might be something that would lend, you know, to some different areas. And so it wasn't quite where I was at. And like I said, that, you know, that fateful day kind of pulled me in, and I said, okay, you know, no more communication. It's all education from here on out.
You know, it's interesting because I think I've mentioned to our audience, our viewers, once or twice that my background, I have an engineering undergraduate degree and have an MBA from Babson College. My intent was to go into the business world.
Sure.
But I almost got into this field by accident. I had a friend who was a math major in college with me, a good friend of mine, and he happened to mention to me one day that he had applied for a substitute teaching position on the days where he and I had no classes.
Sure.
And so I said, gee, that's interesting. Maybe I'll do that. And so I engaged in substitute teaching in Lowell, and just after I graduated, I received a call from the assistant superintendent in Lowell saying, you've done a great job substitute teaching. The teacher that you're substituted for is not going to be here next year. Would you like to take the job? And so I figured, you know what, maybe I'll teach during the day. I'll get my MBA during the night at Babson, and then I'll go into the business.
Right.
But you know what? I found that I absolutely loved teaching. And so I guess the message to our parents from both of us is that don't be concerned if your child is not quite sure what he or she wants to do in life. Life involves a lot of recalibrations, and we eventually find our passion in life and work towards that and with that. And so it's always interesting because this, I think, is more the norm than the exception, that sometimes people will work in a field different from which they were actually educated.
Yeah, and I think that's right. And I think that's one of the exciting things about working in middle school and in high school is because students are starting to find that, and they're starting to get a sense of who they are, who their identity is, not just academically or individually, but also where they kind of see themselves, in kind of that greater picture. And so as much as we can try and foster that here, we also want to give them the skills for if they find themselves with a math teacher buddy who gets them into subbing, or a wrestling coach calling them, that they have the ability to pivot and to find their place, even if it's not where they initially started from. So
well, it's been a wonderful career. It's there's nothing more rewarding than watching the development of a student from the earliest of ages right through high school, and trying to do whatever we possibly can to help them. Being a principal involves some pretty special interpersonal skills. What do you feel are your strong interpersonal skills?
Besides my big mouth, you mean? Yeah, right, exactly. I wanted to always be a team player, and always want to be an advocate for not only the teachers and our staff, which are tremendous, by the way. Like, we've got a great group of teachers who are very skilled, who are all about the students, our support staff, all of the other folks in our building, all about the students. And we're all on the same team, and so we want to be able to collaborate, to work with each other. If we see something that could be improved or making something great even better, I like to hope that I can play a role in that, and that I can help facilitate making those things happen. Because at the end of the day, it's what's best for students, and I want the students to think the same for me. I want them to think I'm approachable and can come up to me, and I might have a goofy joke every now and again, but at least it's something that they feel like they can talk to me, and I can help make their experience that much more positive.
Yeah, it's I know you agree. It's all about connecting. It's about connecting with kids, about connecting with colleagues. It's about inspiring, motivating, very importantly, believing in every single student. When I interview teachers for a prospective job, the one thing I always say is, look, I want you to believe in every single student. Okay, nobody is going to be left behind. Nobody falls through the cracks.
That's right.
Some will progress faster than others. That's okay. That's the story of life. We're all different, which makes us all the same, essentially. But it is, and that's one of the reasons, quite honestly, why I hired you, is because I sensed that ability to connect with students and with the staff and with our administrative colleagues. You represent that trusted adult, which is so very important to students, because there are some things that students will tell you, and they would prefer not to tell their parents if there's something bothering them in life. So you're that very important conduit of communication, and so I applaud you for those tremendous skills, because I've heard great things about you. I've observed you're doing great things.
Oh, thank you for saying that. It's the whole village, though. It's the teachers, it's the students, it's everybody. But I appreciate you saying that. The middle school feels like it's a really good place right now, and students are learning, they're having fun. So it's not work there for me. It feels, and for those teachers, it feels like it's a joy every day. It truly is.
And I would agree. That's the outlook that I bring. And come to work with every day. That it's, first of all, it's a privilege to work in Merrimack, and I look forward to coming to work every day with great enthusiasm. And I know you do also, just with the opportunity to make some difference. You never know when that day is going to be when you'll make a difference in the life of a child. And you'll do something, or you'll say something, or you'll work with that child that will change that child's life forever, and they will remember that.
It's pretty powerful.
Yeah, and we all, you know, I always, when I interview people, quickest, I always ask them, tell me about a favorite teacher that you had in life. It doesn't take them any more than 2 seconds to remember it. Because it's those very special people who do that connecting and who believe in them. And there's a common thread to all of this. And you're right about our staff. We have an outstanding staff. We're very fortunate to have an outstanding staff in Merrimack. There are other areas that, you know, we've been trying to improve the school system and curriculum and instruction and other areas because we want to make sure that we do the right thing for students, but we also do the right thing for taxpayers, that the taxpayers are realizing a return on their invested tax dollars that is quite satisfactory to them. Tell me about some of your interests in life. Sports, recreation, otherwise?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a very, very fortunate guy where, you know, I have a wife of nearing 15 years now, which is exciting. My daughter is 10, and my son is 8, and my golden retriever's just turned 1. So, you know, as far as, you know, free time, any free time I get, it's with them.
So you have 3 children?
Yeah, basically have 3, yeah, as you can imagine, you know. Yeah. So we, and it's been so tremendous. So even when I'm home, you know, I've got a lot of interests. I enjoy reading. I enjoy, you know, being with my family. Enjoy movies. You know, I'm an avid Patriots fan. I know maybe you and I have had a conversation or two about that. So, and just being active and outdoors and kind of spending that quality time is where I spend my day. You know, I hustle to work because I'm excited to be here, and I hustle home to be with them too. So that's really where, you know, a lot of my focus has been.
Yeah, what I particularly appreciate about you is you're a genuine person who is the same person in work that you are outside of work, and that is what you see is what you get. Yeah. Because I think you and I have both worked with some people who are of one set of norms and values outside the job, but when they come into a job setting, completely different and not necessarily consistent with the values that, you know, we look for.
That can happen sometimes. That's a reality.
Yeah, it can happen. And you know, I appreciate your comment about the about sports. We are both avid Patriots fans. In fact, I'll be talking with you about the upcoming.
We have our mock draft to go through. We still have to iron out, right?
How we improve the Patriots. In terms of summer activities or recreation during vacation periods, what do you like to do with your family?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So our my kids are avid swimmers. They adore being being in the water. They're like fish. So when we try to vacation, we try to go to somewhere either towards the coast or, you know, somewhere where we can get them in the pool. And I really enjoy hiking. My kids are starting to get into hiking. We've been doing some, you know, some moderate stuff, but we're so fortunate in New Hampshire. We've got some really good places to go. So we're looking to step that up a little bit and kind of bring them on some little bit more challenging hikes potentially, and you know, and then also too putting some time in here in Merrimack because you know we that's some really good time to do some good work and to gear up for our incoming 6th grade or 7th graders from the 6th grade, you know, and really kind of wrapping up those 8th graders and promoting them to the high school. So
the job never ends. But it's a great passion. I remember in my former job in Westford, Mass, one of the selectmen came up to me one day, this was probably 15 years ago, and said, you know, you never stop thinking about this, do you? He said, I think your mind is going and oriented towards education and this school district 24/7. And I said, yes, but it's enjoyable. I don't look at it as and I'm sure you look at it the same way. Yeah. It's not a great challenge. It's more we look for the opportunities of always how to make things better for a child or a group of children. And is there anything in particular, and this may be a difficult question for you to answer, is there anything in particular that you look back on with great pride in your career and say, you know what, I really feel good and felt good at the time about what I was able to do?
Yeah, and there, it's what you mentioned earlier about you never really can tell, when those moments happen.
Yeah.
And so even early on, young athletes being able to come and thanking me and watching them progress athletically on the football field, wrestling mat. But then also even too, once I started working with students, we were kids interested in creating a presidential candidate club at the high school that I got to be an advisor for, and watching them take the reins to contact candidates to come into our school and to organize speeches and things, to be able to watch and help navigate some of those things. And then even in the administrative world, being able to implement new programs in our school that are going to help either academically or socially. Those things feel so great all the time. And as good as those feel, it's just like what you talked about, there's always good work to be done.
Yeah.
In this group, that, as you know, any educator, I know it's cliche, but they all kind of feel like our kids, and they feel like our community. And so we have that dedication there and that obligation, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels like a great opportunity to improve every single day. And so trying to instill that wherever we can.
We're kind of cut out of the same bolt of cloth, and so on a lot of our other administrators and our staff also, is that we look for those opportunities for students, because we want to present the best to them. We want to bring out the best in them. And I always tell people that what I look for in great candidates for positions in education are what I call, and I know our viewers have heard it before, my 8 Ps, which is preparation, pride, because pride separates great staff members from just average staff members.
Right.
And we hire people who have done a lot of things that have exhibited great pride. Professionalism, passion, lots and lots and lots of passion, patience, persistence, a good personality. I don't want someone in front of children who looks at the world as if the glass is half empty all the time.
Right.
I always tell candidates for hire, I hope you're looking at the world as if the glass is 3/4 full, and you're going to fill it the rest of the way for every child, every day. And then the last P is performance. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Show me what you're going to do.
Exactly right.
And you have been showing us what you are capable of doing. And it's really you've really done an excellent job, because you connect
You made me blush
so
here,
extremely well with everyone. Looking forward, any particular goals or things that you want to accomplish within the next year, 2 years, 3 years? I know you're participating on the strategic plan committee.
No, absolutely terrific. Thank you for saying that. And what has been so great about Merrimack, which I've noticed from day one, and I'm sure you have too, is I have to send my thanks out to the families and the community here for all of their support. I was new, and so it was open arms. I mean, people were very great about communicating with me and speaking with me, coming out to our events, really supportive of our schools, and I'm sure you see that too. Your viewers, the citizens here, have been incredibly supportive. We have a lot of goals that are around instruction and around student performance and understanding and learning. We've moved miles as far as finding out where students are academically and being able to intervene and meet them where they're at. Because in a room full of 20 students, there's going to be a variety of learners and a variety of levels. And,
Very much so.
Being able to work with our teachers to identify how to best individualize as much as we can to those students, to help them bring along and move them forward, to get them well prepared. And with our different types of assessments and programs we've implemented, feel pretty positive about, now we've got some good data and some good information, and let's take that and really put into practice how we can move the needle on those things.
Okay.
And then also socially too, I talked earlier about the opportunities we can offer to kids with what their interests are. We've got a middle school band that's second to none. We've got a chorus. We've got athletics teams. We've got a robotics club. We've got some really nice opportunities for kids, because we want to try to foster that passion. We've got some great art teachers and technological teachers, and we've got a new our MMS TV club, which is puts together a video program. It's really trying to inspire kids to find their passion early and things like that. And I want to make sure that we keep doing those things at school.
Absolutely important, vitally important. I'm glad you mentioned that, because for this current fiscal year, if you recall, you and other principals we're very passionate about wanting to provide more after-school co-curricular activities for students. And
So
thanks
important.
to our school board, the school budget committee, and thank you to the taxpayers for supporting that funding in our budget. We have a very robust array of after-school activities. And as you just mentioned, that's where kids express their passion.
That's right.
And can develop that. And that leads, that pursuit of passion is connected with the ability to be quite innovative. Tony Wagner, the Harvard professor, who's done a lot of research on innovation, and those people who think innovatively, has always felt that it's extraordinarily important for us to provide opportunities for students to express their passion, because that is very significant in terms of their personal development. So I know we're approaching the end of our time on our program. Is there anything else, Crickis, that you'd like to have our audience know about you? Or?
Yeah, absolutely, Bill. And actually, I would love to do a couple shameless plugs for some fun things that we got lined up for the middle school. We've had some great events already this year, and we've had some great times and a lot of fun, but we've also got some cool things coming up. So for all of our viewers, I wanted to invite everybody to our celebration of song. That's for our chorus students. Mr. McGinnis has done a great job of working with our chorus group. That's on March 19th over here at the high school. So we invite them to our concert there. Our band, conducted by Miss Holly Levine, tremendous, I already talked about, second to none. We have a large group festival that's in Goffstown on the 16th. So we would love to have anyone come out and support and hear some great music on the 16th. Our spring sports kick off in just a couple weeks. That's baseball, softball, track and field. So those schedules will be posted, and we'd love to see you out at some games. So we invite everybody to that. And this last fall, we put on a performance of a play called The Bugs, which was hysterical, watching our students perform. And our spring musical, Percy Jackson the Lightning Thief, 2 nights only, the 29th and the 30th of this month. Tickets available at mmsdramaclub.com. That's mmsdramaclub.com. Tickets are going fast, so if you want to catch the spring musical, Bill, make sure you go online and get your tickets. And then we have some great events. At the end of the year, we have our big culminating experience for 8th graders, where they either choose to stay home at New England and go to Boston and do some fun events there. And of course, our students can also have the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. for 4 days. So we've got some really fun events lined up for the spring, and it's never going to be a dull moment at the middle school. So I appreciate you letting me share some of those things.
Great opportunities for our
this
students.
afternoon.
And it's a testament to the extraordinary work that our staff does each and every day, and that you and our administrative team does. I hope you get an understanding, have an understanding of the dynamic person that we have leading our middle school. We selected the right candidate who has great passion, great integrity, believes in all students, inspires and motivates them. Crickis, it's been a pleasure.
Mr. Olsen, thank you. It's been a pleasure. It's still a pleasure.
And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Merrimack.